4 days ago. I was on the beach and walking on the sand, and then I tend to walk, and then I'll stand and meditate in one place. And as I was walking, I was feeling a lot of pain in my knees and pain in my hips and my lower back, and feeling really beleaguered because it's been going on for some time, and kind of grim and self-protective because the sand is on a slant where I was walking, and kind of anxious about, oh my gosh, this keeps going, my body's failing. And so I became aware of the thoughts that were going on, that pain was the enemy. I was really the idea that I was kind of positioned in my mind of being at war with the pain and the deterioration and fears about the future. I have family, my grandchildren coming in a few weeks, and who will be visiting, and fears that I won't be able to show up the way I want to and engage and play and really be available because my body, feeling self-protective of my body. And then also the thoughts and sense of being embarrassed about getting older, having an aging body. Okay, so wake up from thoughts, become mindful of that. So that was what I started having a little more space, just noticing, okay, these are the thoughts and stories that are here. And then dropping into my body, feel the feelings. It was intensely vulnerable and unpleasant. And I just had to keep telling myself, stay. Just there's an image that I brought up. I got this from something I read years and years ago. I think it was a French writer described the emotional pain as an icy couch in our body, kind of in the throat and the chest, that we actually have to, it's like letting our form sit down and rest in this icy couch. And that's what it was like coming into my body and just kind of in some way accommodating to feeling the squeeze and the pressure and the kind of agitated heat of fear in my body. Be with that. Okay, so I stayed and I stayed. And gradually, in the staying, as I mentioned earlier, more space opened up. There's just more presence. And I started sensing, the vulnerability was there, but so was the sound of the wind and the watching the waves rolling in. And there was a larger world. And there was just more spaciousness and more tenderness. Okay, so wake up from thoughts, come into the vulnerability, feel the feelings, and then remember love. And in some way, I started sensing a quality of care coming into me through the waves and from the sky and from the winds and from the interior caring, kind of from that kind of space inside, moving through the painful parts of my body and the vulnerable places. There's a quote I love, which is, love is always loving you. And there was just sense that, okay, there's love that's holding all of this. Um, and with that, it became clear that I was no longer living inside the story of a beleaguered self. Really, there was a resting in a much larger awareness. And that awareness felt like home. And the point is, left to its own devices, our minds will wander, and quite often where they go will keep us locked in limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, unpleasant emotions, and truly a small sense of who we are, a separated, often a deficient self. So there I was, on this beautiful beach, fixated on my frailty, on the stories that were fearful. And here's the thing. Even though some of our stories are really, really painful, some of our beliefs are really painful, like thoughts about being unworthy and failing, we're invested in them. We're loyal to our suffering. And that's because We prefer the certainty of our beliefs than not knowing. So we hold on to painful beliefs. Okay, so the training. One of my teachers, Sri Nisargadatta, says that illusion exists because it's not investigated. The training in waking up out of limiting stories and beliefs requires curiosity and courage. In a way, we have to be more interested and have more love for truth than for the comfort of feeling certain. We have to be more in love with truth than wanting to be certain.